Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Scorpio, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Star card, right? Now, in a lot of ways, so the first thing that I want to mention actually is that the Star card has been very active this week. So I do wonder what's happening in the digital and or online world. And it does suggest there's going to be something happening with the internet, on the internet, some sort of big news, some big shift, trend or change that's about to come through and likely to sweep the world by storm in some way, shape or form. So it'll be interesting to see how it shows up. Now, on a more personal level, one way that this might show up for you, this could be work that you're doing on a website. This could be work that you are starting to think about in the digital sphere, in the online world. Remember the Star card as well. It has a very, I like to think this card has a very protective element to it. And it often shows up when the challenge or the hard work or the issues or the challenges that we've had to face are over. And this suggests to me that for the Scorpios amongst you, you can breathe a sigh of relief this week. You've made it past or over some big hurdle. And if anything, because it is the Star card, this suggests to me that there's some personal enrichment that really shows up for you this week, that you start to feel on a much deeper level. You might maybe this is one of those moments where you're getting into the same energy as me and you're starting to be grateful for whatever your challenges are, because those are very often the things that shunt us forward, right? They're never comfortable at the time and we're like, oh, really? Does this have to happen now? But there is definitely some sort of advancement. And then finally, this card often speaks to me of friendships and or networks and groups. So I will say that this might be a time where you are either connecting to a new one in some way, shape or form, or new friends or new acquaintances even are starting to be revealed to you. For your, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose, and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the Three of Swords, right? Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, you said it was going to be good. And actually, this card really does speak to some of the goodness, right? And it's funny because in one of my groups, actually a group that I created for Radiant Reality alums, we talked about this card just this week, actually, and what the positive reframes of the Three of Swords are. And and for me personally, because you've got the Star card here, this is hope, right? It's the promise that comes when you come out of a difficult situation and you come out of it stronger. This is a week where you are likely to start to really feel, right? Scorpio is the king, the queen, the person when it comes to transformation, right? So when it comes to rising from the ashes like the phoenix, so to speak. And what I like about this is it suggests that you are taking stock of all of your personal heartaches this week, and you're starting to say to yourself, okay, you know what, who is it that I choose to reshape myself into from here? And more importantly, what power is it that lies dormant within me at the moment that I'm not accessing, that I'm not using at this moment in time? I actually really like this for you, and it kind of suggests to me that you are releasing or letting go of maybe a group tie or a group association. Maybe you're choosing to say, okay, you know what, that experience sucked, but now I'm going to go in a different direction. There's a really strong sense of self-honesty, but also self-illumination and self-reliance that is coming through these cards. For your communication and conversation, you've got the Strength card. So here's where this gets interesting, right? The Strength card is is ruled by Leo, or rules the Leo energy, and the Star card is the Aquarius energy, right? So this suggests that your communications, your conversations, but also your general outlook this week is very fair, it's very balanced, but also it's very focused on how to get the most out of what it is that you are experiencing or what it is that you choose to create for yourself. The fact that you have this Strength card here as well, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, just one way that this might show up for you is that you start to realize what element is missing from your work, from your job. What is the one thing that it doesn't provide you that you can't live without, right? This is, again, that moment of self-honesty, right? Of just stripping it back and saying, okay, you know what? I love my job, I love this, but you know what? There's this one element that's missing and it is a deal breaker. That doesn't mean you're suddenly going to walk out of your job. It just means you're now going to start to build something that's more fulfilling. And if you can't have it where you are, then you will start to look further afield. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, people that work for themselves, same kind of energy, but this is more about the people that you're tied to. If you don't have any employees, maybe this is you starting to look at a different clientele. The reason I say this is in these cards, there's such a deep sense of this is what I want. And this is the element that's missing from what I have right now that isn't making it everything that it could be. It's just really a deeply powerful, honest time about what might be missing for you. And, you know, we need to normalize this, right? Be like this whole thing of, oh, you know, I should just be grateful to have a job during COVID times. And no, right? If you're not happy and you're not fulfilled, be honest about it. That way that you actually have a chance to rectify it or to change it. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, the Strength card suggests that you are daring to be bold. And as the saying or the meme goes, you're daring to suck at something new, right? I will tell you, I recently just had my first ever ukulele lesson. I'm learning to play and having a lot of fun doing so. And I was terrible, absolutely terrible. But I had an absolute blast doing it. And I'm going to keep doing it because I had a lot of fun. And it's something that I've wanted to do for the longest time. For all of you Scorpio, Sun, Moon or Ascendant, have the guts or the courage to try something different or to admit to yourself that something is missing. There's a missing element from making what you have now that thing that you absolutely love, right? It's more than fine. For your love and relations, you have the Seven of Cups. It's interesting because in this deck, it's very different to the traditional Seven of Cups, right? And so the reframe for me when I look at this card, it's more about choosing to create your own luck by staying the course with something, all right? Rather than, so for those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, if you've had challenges in your partnership or your relationship, this is you saying, you know what? No matter what the challenge has been or the issue, no matter what's going on right now, I'm going to have the courage to see it through. I'm going to have the courage to make it better. For some of you, this might be having the courage to say to your partner, I'm not as happy as I used to be. What can we do about changing that? For those of you that are single and looking to mingle, I will say this could be a week where you do meet somebody online. It is very possible. I urge you to engage, but also, you know, hold something. I mean, I'm telling a Scorpio to hold something back. I'm not going to sit here and teach you how to suck eggs. You guys have got it. You know what I'm trying to say. Don't give everything all up front. For your money and materials, you have the Seven of Pentacles. So you've got two sevens. Two sevens is news, right? So this is not a week to mix big business and pleasure. This is not a week for you to, and technically you have two eights as well. So two eights is new knowledge, right? So there's new information. This is you seeking new information, trying to find out what that missing element or piece might be. Then you've got two sevens, which is news, right? So this is new information that's coming in for you that is going to help you make an adjustment, especially when it comes to your finances, your money and or your resources. When it comes to finances, it does look like you are putting some money into something for the long term, but you're having to really do so from a place of a place of clarity, right? And now we've got that powerful full moon, which whether you're a sun, moon or ascendant Scorpio, the full moon that takes place right out of the gate of the week in the sign of Cancer is offering a harmonious or a trine energy to your sign, right? So this is a really beneficial element, and it's giving you some positive energy, which is great. And then finally, when it comes to, or not finally, but when it comes to your physical health and vitality, your neck, your throat, and your voice. And it's interesting that you would have the strength card here then, because the strength card very often speaks to the physical health and the body. And what I will say to you is, if you find this week that you feel a bit drained or you feel a bit under it, it's because you're not speaking your truth, right? Pay attention to this, because this is throat chakra stuff. I don't know if it was you guys that I talked about this recently, but I mentioned, you know, when you have stuff happening with the ears, ear infection, all the rest of it, that's also throat chakra stuff. It's something that you're refusing to hear. Communication, throat chakra, is all about a two-way street. It's not just about saying what you need to say or speaking your truth. It's also about hearing things. But in this case, because it is the vocals we're talking about and the neck and the throat, this is something that I would really pay attention to this week, right? If there's something that you need to say, if there's an element of something missing from what you're doing that would actually make you love it, speak up. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, this is actually quite nice because it just sees you getting in the dirt, right? So if you're like me and you live in an apartment, bring the outside in. More plants, more flowers, more things that are alive. If you have an outside, this would be a perfect time to work on the outside, all right? And then finally, your full moon message. Full moon message is... okay, that card seems to want out. The Gate 11 and ideas. Dream big this week. Allow yourself to break out of the box, right? This is not a week to settle for what you have. If you're content there, and you truly are, wonderful, great, stay in that space. But this card, you see I don't know what you guys call them, but here in the UK, we call this a dandelion clock. And the old saying goes, I remember this from when we were little, we would pick it and you would blow on it and the seeds would scatter, and the more as many times as you blow on it, it would say that is the time of day. Completely inaccurate, of course, you know, I mean, give us some slack, we were kids. But you know, but you don't know how far those seeds will go. And this is why I say to you, dream big this week. The star card is really universal connection, right? So dream big. Ask yourself, like, what is that missing element? Be brave and bold enough to say to yourself, this is the thing that is missing from what I want to do, what I want to create, the relationship that I have, the business that I run, the job that I do, whatever it is, right? Be okay with saying, this is the thing that I want to change, the element that I want to add or take away, and just see what kind of magic happens for you this week. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.